Euthanasia outlines introduction, history, laws, religions and its cases, and final conclusion. Coming to the introduction, so euthanasia comes from the Greek words that is eu, good, and thanatosis, that is death, and it means good health, good death, and gentle and easy death. And these words commonly we will be using osmosically. And it is the act or practice of ending a life of a person either by a lethal injection or suspension of medical treatment. So here, if you are finding a person, so he can't survive without a mechanical ventilator or even a muscular dystrophy or with any fatal condition which cannot recover, and the patient is for a long time on bedridden or a coma, we can go for an lethal injection or suspension of medical treatment. And the word euthanasia was first used in the medical context by Francis Bacon in 17th century to refer to an easy, painless, happy death during which it was the physician's responsibility to alleviate the physical sufferings of the body. Coming to the types of euthanasia, that is passive, active, voluntary, involuntary, assisted, and indirect. So let us see what is active euthanasia. And it is when death is brought by an act, for example, taking a high dose of drugs, and to end a person's life by use of drugs, either by oneself or by the aid of a particular physician. That is the active euthanasia. And the passive euthanasia, when death is brought by an omission, example, when someone lets the person die, this can be done by withdrawing or withholding the treatment. Example, the patient is on any mechanical ventilator assisted devices, so here we are withdrawing, disconnecting the patient from the support of mechanical ventilator, that is the passive euthanasia. And withdrawal treatment, for example, switching off a machine that keeps the person alive, that is the thing, withdrawing the person, or we are removing the patient from the mechanical ventilator. And withholding treatment, for example, not carrying out a surgery. So the patient is having a malignant tumor in the uterus or somewhere, and you know it's a fatal condition, and we are not planning to do surgery, and because we know that even though the patient is undergoing surgery also there is no prognosis, that's what we are not carrying out the surgery, that is withholding treatment. And voluntary euthanasia is committed with the willing of autonomous cooperation of the subject. The patient himself or herself willing to go for an euthanasia, that is, this means that the subject is free from direct or indirect pressure from others. So the person himself or herself will take the decision for the euthanasia, that is the voluntary euthanasia. And coming to non-voluntary euthanasia, of course, when the patient is unconscious or unable to make a meaningful choice, that the person, those who are the caretaker, they will be taking the decision for the patient. That is non-voluntary euthanasia. And these other ways we can also call this as a murder, but it's possible to imagine cases where the killing would count as a favor for the patient. What is indirect euthanasia? And this means providing treatments mainly to reduce pain, and that has a side effect of shortening the patient's life. So some type of pain medication, and even though we know that the patient, if you are administering certain type of medication or drugs, it may be causing a shortening of the lifespan. By knowingly we are administering certain types of drugs, that is an indirect euthanasia. And since the primary intent wasn't to kill, but it is morally accepted by some people. And the next one is assisted suicide. This usually refers to cases where the person who are going to die need help to kill themselves and ask for it. So the patient, those who are committed to plan to commit suicide, they need a help from others. And it may be something as simple as getting drugs for the person and putting those drugs within their reach. Coming to the history, so it is believed that euthanasia started in ancient Greece and Rome around 5th century BC. And some did this by, initially it was, the euthanasia is started with abortion, and every now and then performed a mercy killing, even though doctors were supposed to follow the Hippocratic oath. And so that is the thing, we will be taking the oath that I will give no deadly medicine to anyone if asked, nor suggest any such counsel. At the time of the Middle Ages, the euthanasia was pretty much out of the question. And if one committed suicide, the law in Europe was for the body to be dragged through the streets or nailed to a barrel and left to drift down river. So, but in the 17th and 18th century, so the euthanasia comes to a topic of discussion, and most of the people reject euthanasia and assisted suicide. And in the year 1478 to 1535, so Thomas More is often quoted as being first prominent Christian to recommend euthanasia in his book Utopia, where the utopian priest encouraged euthanasia when a patient was terminally ill and suffering pain. So in the year 1478 to 1535, the utopian priest, they were supported and encouraged euthanasia for the patient, those who are having a terminal illness or suffering a long-term pain. And in the year 1828, the first law against assisted killing, known the Anti-Euthanasia, were passed in New York. And in the year 1870, the use of morphine and analgesic medication for assisting quick and painless death was suggested. And in the year 1885, the American Medical Association, they were strongly denied the use of analgesic for euthanasia. And during 1994 in Netherlands, the first country where euthanasia has been allowed. And in the year 2001, the euthanasia was adopted in Belgium, and this law defines conditions for doctors to avoid penal punishment. And in the year 2008, the US state of Washington legalizes assisted suicide. Let us see what are the laws in euthanasia. And in Europe, the euthanasia is only legal in Netherlands, and Belgium provides certain conditions are met. An example, if the patient requesting must be voluntary and well considered, and the patient is suffering for a long time, that is unbearable physical or mental suffering with no prospect of relief, and the patient himself or herself coming into the conclusion, so the pain or the physical or mental suffering is unbearable, and there is no end for the relief, and must be informed about their situation and prospects. At least one other independent doctor must be consulted. And in Belgium, euthanasia is only allowed if patient is an adult. But however, in Netherlands, euthanasia is allowed for children aged between 12 to 16 years of age with the consent of the parents or guardians or any caretakers. And even assisted suicide is legal in the Netherlands, Switzerland, and the state of Oregon in US. But in some have certain conditions. Example, the patient must be considered competent and aware of their situation. And in Japan, only passive euthanasia is permitted for patients who have been in coma for more than 3 months. And while coming to Egypt or in Islamic countries in general, the popular Egyptian scholars Sikh recently issued that equating euthanasia with murder, but allowing with withholding or treatment that is deemed useless. And in some favor of euthanasia argue that a civilized society should allow people to die in dignity and without pain. And they even add that suicide is not a crime, euthanasia should not be a crime. And some of the religious disapprove of euthanasia for a number of reasons. First, God has forbidden it, says you must not kill, and human life is sacred, and human beings are made in God's image, and God gives people life, and so only God has the right to take it away. And we will see what is the religious views of euthanasia, and see if you take Islam, Muslims are against euthanasia, and they believe the human life is sacred because it's given by Allah, and that Allah chooses how long each person will live. So that is based on the Islamic Medical Association of America that say turning off life support or deemed to be in a persistent vegetative state is permissible. And in Christianity, Christians are mostly against euthanasia, and these arguments are usually based on the beliefs. So they are having the belief that the life is given by God and the human beings are made in God's image. So even some churches also emphasize the importance of not interfering with the natural process of death. And even the life is a gift from God, Christianity requires us respect every human being. And coming to the Judaism, Jewish medical ethics have been divided and over euthanasia and end-of-life treatment since 1970. And even Jewish thinkers oppose voluntary euthanasia often vigorously, through there is some backing for voluntary passive euthanasia is limited. And in Shinto, that is Japan, where dominant religion, that is 69% of the religious organization agree the voluntary passive euthanasia. And in Buddhism, an important value of Buddhism teaching is compassion. So compassion is used to some Buddhists as a justification for euthanasia because the person is suffering, is relieved of pain. And because why they are supporting means the patient those are having a prolonged pain, even if we are going for euthanasia, better we are giving relief from pain. But however, it is still immoral to embark on any course of action because whose aim is to destroy human life irrespective of the quality of the individual's motive. And we will see some cases they have done the euthanasia. And the first one is Gloria Taylor in 1948, that is October 4, 2012. And this Taylor was a postal worker, residential care worker, and a motorbike enthusiast and health advocate, and she was born and raised in Castigo, British Columbia, Canada. And she began to experience the early symptoms of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, and in 2003, a neurologist diagnosed her with the disease in 2009, and on June 29, 2011, Gloria filed an application with the Supreme Court of British Columbia to be added a plaintiff in the BC civil liberties. And the BCCLA had filed the lawsuit in April 2011 and challenged the laws that legal challenge seeks to allow seriously and incurably ill, mentally competent adults the right to receive medical assistance to hasten death under certain specific safeguards. And the Gloria Taylor told reporters in Vancouver, and she does not want to die, but she also does not want to die an agonizing and horrible death. And she also says she is fighting so that all people of Canada will have the choice in the way they want to die. And Taylor had won a constitutional exemption at a lower court for a medically assisted death in 2012. And on October 4, 2012, Taylor died as a result of a severe infection resulting from a perforated colon. And due to the acute nature and brief course of her illness from the infection, Taylor did not need to seek the assistance of a physician to end her life, because here actually she was seeking the need of assistance for euthanasia, but unfortunately she developed an infection resulting from a perforated colon, so her death was natural. And the Gloria death was quick and peaceful. Taylor died in hospital with her mother and close friends by her side. And the second case, that is Craig Gavot. The Craig Gavot, 59, he was 59, was a retired college professor who was diagnosed with a motor neuron disease. And this is a neurodegenerative kind that mainly affect the nervous system, and these people usually will be having the symptoms of gripping, walking, swallowing difficulty, and speaking and breathing. And he decided to end his life rather than spend the rest of life in living tomb. So since euthanasia is still illegal in Britain, he traveled to Switzerland to die assisted by Dignitas Clinic in Zurich in September 2006. And he was mostly 5 months paralyzed prior to his televised death, and his last moments were shown on the Sky Real Live Channel Live, and he first said goodbye to his wife, drank the poison, asked for an apple juice, requested for Beethoven's Symphony Number 9, said thank you, and died peacefully. And the third person, that is Frank van den Bleken. And this Frank van den Bleken was a Belgian convicted of serial murder and rape, and who has been imprisoned for almost 3 decades. And he was temporarily released, and he sought the right to die because he was suffering unbearably the psychiatric condition, and he even unable to control his urges, and convict had no prospect of living. And he clearly said he did not want to leave prison because he did not want to risk creating further victims. And he himself considered as a danger to the society. He could no longer live like that. And his lawyer said, so after a conversation with all the doctors and the psychologist, and they had decided that Frank van den Bleken condition is incurable and he may be a danger fellow for the society, and the hospital where doctors end his life on January 11, 2015. But in January 6th, the Justice Minister announced that Van den Bleken's right to die was withdrawn by his doctors. He was instead transferred to a psychiatric prison ward. And finally, conclusion. Some people believe euthanasia is murder and find it unacceptable for moral reasons. And many others argue that the ability to decide your own death weakens the sanctity of life. In addition, many churches, religious groups, and faith organizations argue against euthanasia for similar reasons. Thank you.